I thought I'd put a CD on in the background. Newsboys, God's Not Dead album. And Michael Tate is now the lead singer of Newsboys. You know, he used to be in DC Talk. That's him there, that, you know, the Jamaican guy. So, I'm reading this article from Sort of magazine. Eggs aiming Easter. I saw people on Twitter complaining on Boxing Day that Easter eggs were already on sale. I'm never one to complain about chocolate. When the world hasn't got a clue what these festivals mean, it's no surprise that they all blur into one. An American guy told me he was looking for a necklace to buy for his wife on a London street market. A woman next to him, looking at crosses, asked the store holder, "Why have these ones got that little guy on there?" Easter is a holiday that few people truly understand. Easter means eggs, bunnies and an extra day off to watch sports for many. A Reader's Digest survey showed that more than half of people in Britain don't know why Christians celebrate Easter. I'll read that bit again. A Reader's Digest survey showed that more than half of people in Britain don't know why Christians celebrate Easter. We can blame the faceless enemy of commercialization, but the real reason so few people understand why Easter is worth celebrating is that the church has backpedaled on the importance of the cross and resurrection as history-changing events, preferring to encourage metaphors or legends on a par with the Easter Bunny. Billy Graham wrote, "There is more evidence that Jesus rose from the dead than there is that Julius Caesar ever lived, or Alexander the Great died at the age of 33. It is strange that historians accept thousands of facts for which they can produce only shreds of evidence, but in the face of overwhelming evidence of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, they cast a skeptical eye and hold intellectual doubts. The trouble with those people is that they do not want to believe. It wasn't Jesus' great teaching or even his miracles that sent his earliest followers out on the street and enabled them to change the whole world in a couple of centuries. It wasn't that they were attenders of church services or believers in an abstract philosophy number. They were eyewitnesses to an event that changed everything. Nothing could stop these people. Everywhere they went, they told everyone they met that God had done something unique in their lifetime. A man had been raised from the dead, and they lived as if they truly believed that death had been defeated. If Jesus didn't die and rise again, it's important that we find this out and dismiss it as legend. If it did happen, nothing more important has ever happened. The truth of Christianity stands or falls on whether God actually physically raised Jesus from the dead. The Bible itself says that if the resurrection didn't really happen, the Christian faith is worse than pointless and we have no grounds for hope. So we might as well just eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. 1 Corinthians 15:32. A woman wrote to J. Vernon McGee, our preacher, said that on Easter Jesus just fainted on the cross and that the disciples nursed him back to health. What do you think? McGee replied, beat your preacher with a leather whip with 39 heavy strokes, nail him to a cross and hang him in the sun for 6 hours, then run a spear through his heart, embalm him to put him in an hairless tomb for 3 days and see what happens. Every year some writer or another dismisses the resurrection story as a myth fabricated by Jesus' followers to overcome the shame of his execution and to fulfill his many predictions about rising from the dead. Too many people chug down the chocolate and watch more telly, never realising the mind-boggling, earth-shaking, inspiring importance of the event this holiday celebrates. The moment that changed history and eternity, when Jesus of Nazareth, cruelly executed 3 days earlier, broke out of his tomb into the dawn of a new day. German theologian Wolfgang Pannenberg wrote, the evidence for Jesus' resurrection is so strong that nobody would question it, except for 2 things. First, it is a very unusual event, and second, if you believe it happened, you have to change the way you live. I'm usually a lot less straightforward in my column than this, but however, you got this magazine. That's what I want to challenge you to do. Look into Easter like the first followers looked into that empty tomb. Nothing is more important than abandon all lesser allegiances and follow the Son of God unreservedly. He demands no less. I have every right to call for that change of life, because he has proved beyond reasonable doubt for anyone who will look at the evidence fairly that he is the Son of God and he's alive today.